Hola, bon dia. There we go. Carl Munson here with some sound this time on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. How are you guys doing? So sorry about that. The one thing I didn't check this morning was my audio, and it was the one thing that tripped me up. So how are you doing, tudo bem? Como foi o seu fim de semana? How was your weekend? Do let me know. And as Paul was quick to notice there, nice nuts, bon dia, nice sunny start to the week. It is a very different day today. We'll have a look at the weather and tell you a little bit about my walnut picking if we get round to that. Want to talk about Azorean tea. Want to know what you've been up to this weekend. As you can see, yeah, I picked a few walnuts myself. And I think I may have completed the Wi-Fi gate business with Vodafone or Vodafone or Nodaphone, as I like to call them, a long-running saga, which I think is completed now. And I think I've got a way to possibly save you €300 of rascally kind of behavior from Vodafone that you might overlook. So I'll come back to that as well. Bon dia from a rainy Wiesbaden from Jim. Good morning, Jim. I thought the sound was a problem on my end. No, sorry to do that to you, everybody. It was my mistake. It happens every now and then, doesn't it? Rifat is here as well. Good. But look at that. Look at that set of emoticons there. There's a fanfare for good morning. Bon dia from Rifat. Good morning to you. Pete says, morning from a damp but sunny Castanera de Pera. This weekend, we lunched in Figueira de Foz, bought fresh anchovies, and tried to impress the new neighbours with an Indian feast. How did it go, Pete? Sounds wonderful. And why weren't we invited? Bon dia from sunny Cascais. Hi, Anna. How are you doing this morning? Lovely to hear from you. Yeah, it is. There is a bright atmosphere, as though Depression Barbara, the depression part's gone, isn't it? And that heaviness that was around for a few days, and the dampness, and well, still damp and rainy, possibly. And we'll go through the week's weather. We'll have a look at how it's all going to shape up weather-wise for the week. Yeah, really lovely, bright morning. Been out with the dogs this morning, and it was lovely out there. How is your day? Best wishes for good thought. That's a lovely greeting, Rifat. All good here, my friend, and very good to hear from you. And yeah, best wishes for good thought. That's a nice way to set up a Monday, isn't it? All kinds of bits and pieces that I wanted to talk about this morning, and hopefully we'll bring them all in somehow. So let's just do this one step at a time, shall we? And take it nice and easy. I do get excited when I jump on air and then people start saying hi and everything. It is a great start to the day for me. But then in the excitement, I sometimes forget what I plan to do during the live stream. So do remind me if I say something and then forget to mention it. Just give us a shout towards the end of the show. Bon dia, have a nice week. Thank you very much, Anna. I think you're possibly new and on the screen for the first time there. Ana Luisa Cairo Baltazar, what a fabulous name you have as well. And Rifat is letting us know he's from Amadora, Lisbon, this morning and belongs to Bangladesh. Isn't that lovely to say you belong somewhere rather than you come from somewhere? That's incredible, yeah. Okay, Valerie, good morning to you. Good morning. Sunny here on the coast. Had dinner with lovely new clients this weekend. Very nice. Started sorting out spare room. Geez, I've got such a bunch of junk. I've got a bunch of junk. Okay. I think many of us have that. We have done episodes on how to clear the clutter, haven't we, previously? And I think Mrs. M's done a lovely job in the room that I'm broadcasting from. We've had a lot of our junk out of view. You know, you have the green screen here, which creates a completely different impression. But yes, this room has had a bit of a makeover overnight, and Mrs. M has done a lovely job, I have to say. And we are slowly getting rid of our junk. What are your tips for doing that? Just straight in the bin, or do you hold on to it thinking it's going to be useful one day and then throw it out anyway several months or years later? Don't forget your old mate Rod. Who would do that, Rod? I'd never forget you. Good morning to you, sir, over Tamar way from Build Safe there. And Anna's letting us know that she did a bit of DIY at the weekend, painting the garage. How did that go? In these damp conditions, Anna, do let us know with that. And Anna, the other Anna who's here with us this morning, Anna Baltazar, is a new face here, so you're very welcome. Let us know how this show can work for you. That's what it's all about. We are Good Morning Portugal every weekday morning from 9 a.m. where we endeavour to connect everybody who's living here in Portugal, keep you up to date with what's going on in the news and with the weather, and a few features, a few lovely guests, and really just making your life more enjoyable and comfortable here in Portugal, and you sharing with others who want to do that as well, the wonder and glory of living here in Portugal. Yes, still drying the paint over there in Cascais. Yes, it is so wet and damp. I'm not surprised to hear that. So yeah, do let us know how you would like this show to shape up for you, Anna Baltazar, and anyone else who's new this morning, and also all you oldies. I'm not referring to your age; that would be disrespectful. But like the folks like Gary Austin over there in Alvazra, keeping a check and balance on the show here from the start of these things of our broadcasting history, way back in probably March or April. You know, we began as a response to keeping you up to date with the COVID coverage. We continue to do that from time to time, and we might do a little bit of that this morning. But yes, you, the old guard of the Good Morning Portugal live stream, you too have a voice and an influence here. So tell me which bits you like, which bits you don't like, and what we should do more of. Nuno from Northampton this morning in the UK, not far from Silverstone. And can you see where I'm going with this? Not far from Silverstone in the UK is Nuno saying, Boa semana para todos, a good week to everybody. Yeah, over there in Silverstone, obviously the home of Grand Prix in the UK. The Grand Prix happened in Portugal, I think, for the first time over the weekend. And congratulations to Lewis Hamilton for yet another win. Getting a bit boring now, isn't it? Neil Perkins is here. Good morning to you, Nuno. Thanks for tuning in. Bon dia, tired, not bored. Oh, he's yawning. Yes, you had quite a busy weekend, I think, Neil, didn't you? A few wine ninjas from the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club hanging out in the Alentejo this weekend. And from what I could see with the pictures, it looked like you had a fantastic time. So I'm really pleased to see that and hear that. Find some simplicity in you. And that is why I am your friend, says Rifat. Be very good and be healthy. I do my best to be good. It doesn't always work out. And be healthy. I wish Almighty will give us good thoughts for a beautiful world and for humanity. What a lovely sentiment. Thanks, Rifat. Yesterday, I went to Vasco da Gama shopping centre to watch the Portuguese movie Listen, that won a prize in Venice. Oh, that's something we should have a look at on our Expat Man Cave. We do the occasional bit of movie news there. So, yes, that's one to look out for. How was it, Anna? Do let us know. And, yes, among my favourite shopping centres in Portugal, I think Portugal does shopping malls really well. I couldn't say I was a fan of shopping malls, like many fellas, I think. But coming to Portugal, it's really nice how things are laid out, how calm and easygoing things are, and the atmosphere. Obviously, that's all changed in the last few months. But yeah, still, I have fond memories of the last time I was in Vasco da Gama shopping centre, hanging out with my co-host from the Expat Man Cave, leading me astray there, offering me beer first thing in the morning. But then again, that's quite Portuguese, isn't it? We're getting into the culture. So weather, yes, crikey. 10 minutes into the show, and I still haven't done any weather. Let's have a look at the weather then for the week ahead. Currently in Lisbon, 14 degrees and mostly cloudy. Rainy day actually forecast in the capital today. 18 degrees the high. The sun will return tomorrow, albeit cloudy, with a 19 degree high. Rain again forecast on Wednesday. Sunny day, no cloud on Thursday, and on Friday a cloudy day. So quite a nice week to look forward to in the capital. A bit of rain forecast for Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So not blue skies all the way by any means. A bit of cloud, some rain, but a nice sunny day to look forward to on Thursday. In Porto, yes, a lot of rain was forecast last week for Porto. 3 more days of that, I'm afraid, forecast up there in Porto. The temperature at the moment, 11 degrees in Porto. Sunny day today at the moment, but that might well give way to some rain later on. 15 degree high today and tomorrow. Rain forecast again tomorrow and Wednesday. But just like the capital, sunny day forecast for Thursday with an 18 degree high, and then a bit of a cloudy day on Friday and a rainy weekend for Porto coming up. Coimbra, 11 degrees, mostly cloudy at the moment, 17 degree high today and a rainy day. Oh dear. That's the weather pattern I tend to get. Tomorrow, the rain eases. It will be a cloudy day. Rain back again on Wednesday, and a sunny Thursday and Friday for this part of central Portugal. And Faro, 15 degrees, mostly cloudy at the moment. 19 degree high today and cloudy. Sunny day tomorrow, sunny day Thursday and Friday, and a cloudy weekend and a cloudy Wednesday. So no rain forecast for Faro. You lucky people down there in the south. So that's how the weather's looking for the rest of the week. Let's see how everybody's doing and what sort of weekend you've had. Rifat says Lisbon is one of the best cities in the world where you will find natural and the best humans. Love you, Portugal. I'm loving the love bomb this morning about Portugal and Portuguese life, Rifat. Thank you. Keep it up. Bon dia, Carl. Finally got permission from the junta to burn the garden waste. So, yeah, folks, while Gareth's here and mentioning that, good morning to you, Gareth. You do need permission to have a fire, understandably, certainly in central Portugal. And so they looks like the Teesdale household finally got permission from the junta to burn the garden waste, as did half our village. As the flames died down, I retired to the house for a shower. No water. The water was off and stayed off all evening. So went to bed smoky. Next day, shower with odd colour water. This is quite an interesting weekend story. Thank you, Gareth. But cleaned with odd coloured water. We have a potential viewer for our house near Piedão. I reminded them we had gone back to the daylight saving time, and they cancelled. Oh dear! So if quite eventful and strange weekend for you there. Yes, I wonder if everybody has managed to sort their clocks out. We've taken you by surprise this morning. How would that be? If you haven't sorted your clocks out, would we be in your life now an hour early? Yeah, an hour early, really, because strictly speaking, it's 10 o'clock still, isn't it? For our bodies, it's 30 minutes past 10 on this Monday morning. Oh, I haven't done that bit yet. Let me just put that on the screen so you can get your Portuguese practice. Segunda-feira, of course, dia 26 de outubro. Okay, 26th today of October. Crikey, nearly Halloween, and nearly, of course, the weekend coming up, the Day of the Dead celebration. Well, I keep calling it a celebration. I'm so sorry. I can understand how inappropriate that sounds. Acknowledgement, the Day of the Dead, and a weekend of remembering the ancestors here in Portugal. And, of course, a weekend of restrictions on travel, in case you didn't know already. No inter-municipality travel, which for some people means a very sort of tight compass of restriction. I live in quite a big municipality here in Anadia, but I mean, the general idea is no traveling around the country, a bit like last Easter, when traditionally Portuguese people would be traveling all over the country, visiting relatives and acknowledging their ancestors who've passed away. But that's not going to be possible this weekend. You have to stay within your municipality for this weekend. I see also that there is now a state of emergency again in Spain. Spain have also have put in place a curfew from 11 at night till 6 in the morning. So interesting developments in Spain, our neighbours here. And yeah, be careful at a weekend. We still don't know. For people who are arriving, this is a question that was around for some expats arriving into the airport during the weekend lockdown, as it were, coming up. What do you do? Do you have to stay in the municipality of the airport? I'm guessing there will be some discretion applied, and it really applies to people who would ordinarily be driving around all over the country, visiting relatives and visiting cemeteries and so on. That won't be allowed, and I'm pretty sure you won't be locked into the airport municipality until Monday. But you know, it is confusing at the moment, and I guess you just have to go with your best thoughts on this and stay within the law as well, as grey as it might be becoming in some instances. And I saw at the weekend, I was going to talk more about this. I think it might be a bit heavy for a Monday morning, don't you? Talking of which, Mooring Monday. Bon dia, hola, from Will. I don't think he's had his second coffee yet. Gemini Bradshaw is also saying good morning all. And Anna, who's joined us for the first time this morning. The movie is so intense that I got dizzy. Lucia Moniz deserves an Oscar. Okay, so that is the movie Listen. Nice tip there. Thank you, Anna. That's well worth a look. A prize-winning movie already. That's the movie called Listen, and she thinks principal in that. Lucia Moniz deserves an Oscar. Fantastic. Okay, so we need to put that on the list. Missed the brash burning opportunity. Now the pile is wet. It's very poetic, Will. Had a spooky encounter in the night on Sunday morning and not quite sure how how to explain it without sounding crazy. It's not something you usually worry about. Something was having a go at my wood pile at 4 a.m. Thank you for that, Will. Anyone else had anything have a go at their wood pile in the early hours of the morning, I wonder? All right, I was gonna go into the protest that happened in Lisbon. As I was saying, it's just getting the idea of the mandatory mask wearing law that will be looked at this week. I think it's proving to be one of those grey areas, and also one of those areas where people just can understand it in one sense, but not, and others are thinking, well, that doesn't really make sense how that works. These are the times we're living in, folks. But I think I might do this tonight on the Portugal show rather than go into it this morning. I think I'll talk about tea from the Azores and keep it light this morning rather than talk about the demo that was in Portugal. But just to let you know, there is some sense of discontent in some quarters here in Portugal, and there was a demonstration in Lisbon, and the article I'm looking at on the screen now from the Jornal Económico, without masks and without social distance, the protesters wielded several posters which said, among others, "Down with the dictatorship, masks generate distrust, promote health instead of fear, fear is not the vaccine," while speeches were made on a stage set up for the purpose. So people, had a demonstration in the Praça do Rocio in Lisbon. One of the iconic places you would visit. And often people try and sell you drugs. I've noticed from my own experience. Do I look that sort of person? But that often happens there. People are trying to sell you drugs on the Praça do Rocio, an interesting and very touristy part of Portugal. But there were people demonstrating there at the weekend. Yeah, might go into that a bit more deeply tonight. Our hour-long Portugal show on this very same page and platform this evening. Okay, yeah, I will talk to you. Instead of doing that, I think I'm going to talk to you about tea from the Azores, because I think it's really a lovely part of Portugal and the Azores, this idea of tea. And I'm tempted to get some scent from the Azores and actually start drinking tea from the pot. Isn't that the right way to drink tea? This terrible, lazy tea bag thing that we've got into. And like you retired expats, you've no excuse to use tea bags, have you? I mean, not least because they're made of plastic and cause a massive pollution problem, allegedly. But wouldn't it be nice as part? Maybe you already do. Maybe I'm judging you harshly already. But for the retired expats who've come to enjoy and relax and enjoy the calma, tranquilo life of Portugal, wouldn't it be great to make tea in the pot and to make tea from the Azores in the pot? So I think I'm going to do that and do a live tea tasting. Get myself some of that organic tea from the Azores, which I'll tell you a little bit more about after we've looked at some more of your comments this morning. Oh, yeah, and the Vodafone thing. I want to tell you about, this is what happened for my weekend. So we must come back to that. But this show is so much about your contributions. So Refat is giving us some great value this morning. Lisbon and some other cities, their love like you are very much special, with trust, with what is good for their society. And if you can, they will help you be a good human, being a good human. In Europe, I saw that it's very special thoughts and they're very caring. Thank you again, and very good wishes for everyone, and happy birthday for a new generation. Wow. Excuse me. This is interesting stuff coming from Refat this morning. And Neil would, I think, responding to my mention there of the protests in Lisbon over the weekend, the country is in a state of discombobulation. One of my favorite words, discombobulation. And I think you might be right. And I think it's also fair to say that Portugal isn't alone. I was looking at the statistics of what's measured at the moment, and understandably so, are the cases and the rising cases. But it's quite reassuring if looking at the total deaths can be reassuring. But we still are in a country that I think, among all countries in the world, has a pretty good grasp of a very difficult situation. And in terms of total deaths, which is a figure, I mean, I don't mean to be morbid, but I think it's a figure that gets left out of conversation about the pandemic. Total number of deaths from the pandemic is 2,316 in Portugal, which puts it 40th in the world rankings. And even with cases, I think Portugal is 41st. So Portugal is doing extraordinarily well, even though, like in most countries that are dealing with the pandemic, which is pretty much all of us, right? We are getting this growing sense of fatigue and chaos and, lack of clarity, confusion, and things not making sense. But, I think that just goes with the territory. And it's also reassuring to know, I think, that Portugal is 40th in terms of the total number of deaths from the pandemic, which points at, I think, pretty good management of the situation. And we can debate the finer points of that, and that's always going to be the case, isn't it? When governments are in charge of huge populations and making decisions that affect our lives quite drastically at times. But reassuring, I think, to know that Portugal is 40th of the world countries in total number of deaths so far from the pandemic. Sorry if that is in any way morbid to you on a Monday morning. I'm merely trying to offer some sort of reassurance there. Vodafone. Okay, from pandemic deaths to Vodafone, or Vodafone, or Nodaphone, as I've begun to call them. Some of you may be aware that I've had a long-running Wi-Fi gate, fiber gate with them. And just one thing I wanted to add to that epic story and adventure with Vodafone, from my own personal experience. If you ask me for my advice, I will give it to you. I'm not making some sort of overall objective judgment about Vodafone. I'm talking about my personal experience here, and I'm glad to give opinions, as you know, on which might be the best services to use in Portugal. So yes, Vodafone doesn't rank very highly for me with the experience I've had with them in the last few months. But something I wanted to share with you, and I think you really need to know about, is that when you change your provider, and you end up with probably a shopping bag of the old kit, the router, as I think you Americans might call it, the fixed phone does anyone use those anymore? But the fixed phone that they give you, the router, and the digibox is what I call it, but the satellite box as well. So you've got 3 bits of kit that when you finish your contract with your fiber provider, your broadband, your TV package provider, you might think, I'll just leave that in the house or in the attic, or I might just leave it by the recycling bin. Do not do that, folks, if you're with Vodafone. And this may apply to other providers as well. But in one of my many trips to Vodafone shops, I tried to take this bag of stuff because, from an ecological recycling point of view, I think, okay, they should have it back. It's their property probably anyway. They should have it back, and hopefully it will be recycled. Well, the shop I took it to wouldn't take it. They are a Vodafone shop, but they're not an official Vodafone shop, so they wouldn't take it. You've got to take it to the Glicinias shop, they told me, in Aveiro. And I said, what if I don't? What if I just don't bother? She said, muito euros. I'm thinking, okay, I better take it back. So I took it into the shopping centre. Talking of shopping centres again, the Glicinias shopping centre, another classic shopping centre of Portugal. Took it into the Vodafone shop there, and I said to the bloke, what would happen if I didn't bring this back to you? Oh, he said, we charge you 300 euros for not returning this kit. So I said, well, you better give me a receipt then. Great bloke, as ever. So many of the people I meet in the process of having a terrible time with Vodafone are lovely people, just enacting to me what is terrible company policy. But 300 euros, folks. If you move house and change providers, make sure that kit gets back to the provider, the original provider of your stuff. Because if they're anything like Vodafone, they will charge you 300 euros for not returning their kit to them. I think another way of doing it is you can have someone come and collect it, but then you've probably got to stay in all day, which will be another inconvenience that they're creating for you. I'm not bitter. Okay, let's have a look at some of the contributions that are coming in. It was great being here with you guys. Thank you for the nice things you said about Portugal and for this chat. I have to go now. My boss wouldn't understand if I prefer to stay here instead of working. Oh, I'm sure your boss will be fine. Just put them on. We'll talk to them through the comments, Anna. But have a super day. Have a super day. What is your ambition, Os? This is becoming the Refat Show. What is your ambition, and what is the best way you can think people can do for each other's ambition? Some really nice meaning of life stuff this morning from Refat. Feel free to answer that, everybody. Bon dia, everybody from sunny Scarborough, from Andy Craig. Good morning to you, Andy. What are your plans in relation to Portugal, if you don't mind me asking, and where are you in those? And is that Scarborough Tobago? There probably are Scarboroughs all over the world, aren't there? Gemini is cracking a funny there, but there's probably some truth in that. So whether it be Scarborough, Tobago, Scarborough, there's going to be Scarboroughs in America, right? Good morning to you, Andy Craig, and nice one, Gemini. I have to go to work, says Reef. Have a great day, my friend. I have to go to work. Best wishes always for best human. Fantastic. Wayne Barker, bon dia a todos, heading out to Cortain Vinhos this morning near Caldas de Reina, having internet issues, but trying to catch up with the show when possible. Yeah, just bedding in right into Portuguese life there, Wayne. Good luck with your connection. And thank you for the conversation we're having about matriculation. Boa sorte, my friend, with that. The PS lost an absolute majority in the regional elections of the Azores yesterday. Thank you, Christopher Noble, for that bit of political information. And with my talk of the coronavirus and the pandemic, Gary saying, damn you, coronavirus, you're a pain in the bum. Sentiment I think we can all agree with. Andy Craig, I wish Tobago, Yorkshire, Scarborough. A nice place. I'm thinking that's not Bram Stoker's Scarborough, is it? That's Whitby, isn't it? Not far from there. And you've got lovely Robin Hood's Bay as well. Lovely part of the world, Andy, but I imagine a bit soggy. Sunny in nice Yorkshire, says Gemini. For the moment, says Andy Craig. Okay, so it sounds like you are on your way to Portugal. Okay, let's finish with a bit of tea talk then. I've got a lovely article to share with you about tea from the Azores. And as I said before, I think, who's up for having a tea club where we buy some organic tea leaves from the Azores and we bring them to the show together and we drink tea together, but in the proper way, not some sort of scabby old tea bag, not some convenience thing. That's awful, isn't it? Let's do it properly, folks, shall we? And drink tea together with a proper teapot, which I'm sure we can get in Portugal, because of Portugal, of course, introduced tea to the British. And that may come as a surprise to some people. So Portuguese people know how to drink tea, even though they obviously mainly drink coffee these days. But it's very much a Portuguese thing, it is tea, as we're going to see. And look at this picture here on the screen of tea growing in the Azores. Just changing the background so you can really see what's going on. Isn't that a beautiful picture of tea growing in the Azores? I think that's lovely. Palavra do dia actually is not connected to tea. It's connected to my starter screen, which is going along the bottom of the screen now. Word of the day, Palavra do dia is Nogueira. I'm not going to tell you what that means. I'm going to let you guess. So do pop in the comments what you think Nogueira is. It is connected to how we started the show this morning. But yes, more about tea now from the Azores. And this is a medium.com article from Rogerio Souza, who says, it really doesn't matter what time of day it is. Tea grown in the Azores is 100% organic and has been around for almost 2 centuries now. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, 1,500 kilometers away from the mainland, the only tea factories remaining in Europe continue to harvest this wonderful beverage for the delight of us all. And this came as a surprise to me. Rice is grown in the Alentejo. Tea is grown in Portugal. And we including obviously the Azores and Madeira as the autonomous districts of Portugal. So yes, tea grown in Portugal, rice grown in Portugal, and here in the Azores it is grown, and this is where we're going to import some tea from into Portugal and drink it on the show. In the 16th century, tea was introduced to Portuguese priests and merchants in China. What were they doing there? It's amazing, isn't it? Who later introduced it to Europe. The Portuguese called it cha, because the Chinese character for tea can be read as te, which comes from the Malay word for drink. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Cha, te, they don't sound very similar. Or as something as cha, coming from the Mandarin word for harvest. Okay, so cha sounds like harvest in Mandarin, and tea, okay, tea and te from Malay, the word for tea. Okay, so now I think I understand that. But yes, we do call it in the UK, nice cup of cha. So cha or tea, they prefer the latter sound, and until today, tea is called cha in Portuguese. So when you go for cha preto or cha verde, that's, you're using the word cha instead of tea. And there's a lovely picture of people picking tea with their fantastic view of the Atlantic there. Tea production is thought to have been introduced in the Azores in the beginning of the 19th century, around 1820. By somebody called Jacinto Leite. Isn't that interesting that somebody who brings about tea production in the Azores is called Milk? Now, I don't know if they would have drunk milk with it at that point, because as I understand it, milk was put into tea first of all, to stop the staining of the fine china that it would have been served in. And then it became all the rage to drink tea with milk in it. But tea, I think tea in its purest form around the world is drunk black, or without milk, at least anyway. So Jacinto, late an Azorean, born in the island of San Miguel, was the person to start producing tea in the Azores. And at the time, Jacinto was working as commander of the Royal Guard of King John VI in Brazil, and decided, so that would be, King João VI in Brazil, and decided to create the first tea plantation in San Miguel using seeds he had brought from Rio de Janeiro. What a fantastic story and journey this is. The climate of the island, and it's funny, isn't it, when these commanders and high-ups in empires say that they began, or it's said about them that they began tea production, I don't suppose that Jacinto actually got down and dirty in the ground and planted tea. I imagine he got someone else to do it for him, right? So I decided to create the first tea plantation. The climate of the island proved to be good for the crops, and the cultivation of tea slowly gained support in the island, while the production and exportation of orange, a very important part of the island's economy, was in clear decline. Tea production looked like a promising substitute. Good move then, Jacinto. This made the members of the Micaelense Promoter Society look at and that will be, I guess, the people of the San Miguel Island. They looked at the production of tea as the economic cycle that would replace the fading one. And there begins the story of tea in the Azores. Therefore, tea production has become an important occupation for the people of the island and its economy, reaching its peak in the 1950s, when exportations achieved a staggering amount of 250 tons as a result of 300 hectares of cultivation. For a small island in the middle of the ocean, those were very impressive numbers, and the tea future never looked so bright. However, plot twist in the story of tea in the Azores, with the aftermath of World War I and the customs protection of Mozambique tea, the production and exportation of tea in the Azores began facing increased difficulties. This situation triggered such a crisis in tea production that by 1966, out of 14 processing tea factories, only 5 remained working, and currently there are only 2. The Goriana Tea Factory and the Porto Formoso Tea Factory. Would, by any chance, anybody watching this morning or hearing this later in the podcast or whatever, be a fan of Azorean tea? Do get in touch, because I would love to drink a cup of tea with you virtually on the show sometime. And anyone else fancies that, get your tea sorted out from the Azores. I'm sure you can buy it in some of the Portuguese supermarkets, I suspect, because Portuguese people understandably support Portuguese products, and I suspect you can get Azorean tea in some of the supermarkets. But if not, let's source it elsewhere, and let's drink a nice cup of tea together. I love that story, and I love the look of the Azores as well. Anyone been there who's tuned in this morning? Okay, so a few more comments before we go this morning. We'll keep it light and easy and breezy, and we'll see you tonight for the Portugal show, where we're actually going to look at the top reasons why people have their D7 visas refused, the knockback on D7. Somebody very kindly sent me a list of the top reasons why people don't get their D7s approved, and we'll go through that this evening on the Portugal show from 10 o'clock on this platform. Lovely. We'll love some of that tea. So Gemini's in with the tea club. And what's Will saying now? Is he on his second cup of coffee yet? With all the fresh guests plus growing familiar faces, this show is becoming an entity in itself, where we're learning about and meeting people from all walks of life. Connection often leads to good things. Absolutely right, Will. Absolutely right. Yorkshire tea, says Andy Craig. Of course, being from Scarborough is the only thing Portugal is missing for me. Azores tea is interesting. Well, let's see, Andy, if we can convert you, because I'm going to put myself through that process. The best that I've come up with is the English breakfast from Lidl, but I would much rather have loose leaf tea in the pot and be drinking a Portuguese product. And I've got used to the old UHT, long life milk, with it as well. But let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do to raise the bar of drinking tea here amongst this community, and get some conversions to Portuguese produce while we're about it. Thanks for that, Andy. Today, may the last few sunny days may be the last few sunny days where you can suck up some good vitamin D from the sun and top up the reserves. Okay, so get out there, folks, is Will's advice. In the man cave, oh, okay, I'm not going to read that out. Thank you, Will, for that. But he says, get some sun on your arms and chest and top skin for 20 minutes, and sun on your face won't go amiss. And I think in many ways there's nothing nicer than autumn or spring sun, on your face and body, and you can feel it warming your bones, can't you? Obviously, full-on Portuguese sun is fantastic, but there is something really magical, and I think it's connected with this vitamin D thing. There's something really magical about being in cold air but bright sun as it warms your body. So may that bless you today. May you be blessed by autumnal sunshine whilst being topped up with your vitamin D reserves, as Will is pointing out there. And I wish you a very good day. Bom dia to you, and we'll see you tonight. And if not, see you again tomorrow morning. Have a great week. Take care, and bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Abraços, beijinhos.